What's going on, everyone? Today I'm just going to go through a kind of a simple dip goal, right? So when it comes to dips, kind of what we want to shoot for, and then how to regress if you're not quite able to do dips with the range you need and or the ability to do them pain-free. Okay, so let's start with what we're looking for on a dip and why I'm a fan of doing dips. So I never really was a huge proponent of these, mainly because I felt like there was a myth or a stigma surrounding them that they're bad for the shoulders, which now I'm realizing pretty much everything that I had heard that was bad for your joints in any capacity wasn't really true, because if our joints can move in a way, then we need to strengthen those movements. Now, I think where it gets sticky is knowing what progression and regression to use during these movements, right? Like if I have never done a dip before and I just try to do a full dip with a weight hanging off me, like I'm probably going to get hurt, right? But we need to know the regression so that we can strengthen our bodies in every movement, right? So this is a great exercise for shoulder strength, chest strength. It's a great tool to improve our running, because when we run, right, we want to be able to rip those arms through. And I'm not proficient in teaching running technique, but I do know, whether we're trying to jump, like the upper body plays a role, right? Whether that's a small fraction, 15% or whatever, it plays a role in our athletic ability with the output we're putting through with our legs. So we really want to take that serious when we're training our upper body. So what we're looking for in the dip here is we want to get the elbows above the shoulders, okay? So probably something like this. We want to shoot for at least above the shoulders, but more range, pain-free, is also going to improve our ability to be less injury prone, right? So that's what we're shooting for, is, minimum body weight, I would say 5 to 10 reps, pain-free, elbows above the shoulders. I think that's a good goal to shoot for. Now, what if you can't do that? All right, so here's a few things that you can do to regress that, which I actually started with because I wasn't able to do a body weight dip with good range, pain-free, when we first got this. So here's something you can do. Now, mind you, how much you weigh is going to play a factor in here, because if you're, typically a lot of my female clients, if you're lighter here, you're not going to have enough weight to bring you to that range, so you can regress it, but the band is going to keep you up. So either try to find a band that's light enough, or like myself, I'm about 200 pounds, so this will be fine for me. So just kind of throw a knee in there. And then what this will do, I'm still able to get my range here, but now it's assisting me on the way up. So here and back up, okay? So here's one regression that I'm a fan of, if you can make it work under the criteria we just talked about. But something else we can do now is we can move over here to push-ups. Let me see if I can lower this a little bit for you guys. To push-ups that are going to allow us more range than a standard push-up. Right, so if I'm doing a standard push-up, okay, I'll try to get out here so you guys can see me out front. Okay, let me go right here. So if I'm doing a standard push-up, right, just off the floor, I'm limited my range to where the floor is, right? So when my chest hits here, my shoulders and my chest really isn't under much stress here, under stretch, because my body's stopping at the floor. So it's almost like in a way, you're not getting that full range, right? Because I'm just stuck right there. So if you can find either like some push-up bars or I have these DC blocks here that you can pick up from I don't know the DC blocks, I guess is the company, but Rogue has them as well. That's where we got ours. And now what I'm going to do is as I come down through here, now I'm under stretch, right? But it's not as intense as the dips were. So I'm here and I'm back up, right? Boom. So a little bit different movement because we're not straight up and down, we're flat, but still opening up those shoulders. And let's say that's too much for you to go from your feet back, then you can just go to your knees. Okay. The further your knees are out, the more pressure you're going to have. Stretch back up. If that's too much, bring the knees forward. Back up. And right there. Okay. So what I wanted to do was I just wanted to make sure you guys were able to see a regression and a progression for these because, you know, again, if you were like me, I wouldn't do dips because they hurt my shoulders and they were bad for my shoulders. But any movement your body can do is a good movement, but how much stress and load you put through that movement is going to make that a good or bad movement. All right. So however your back, right? Same, and I can get into this in another video, but you know, I was always under the impression that my back should never round. I should never round my back ever. And yeah, if I'm doing a 500-pound deadlift or I'm lifting heavy in that sense, yeah, I don't want my back to round. But day-to-day life, sport, right? If I'm playing a sport and I have to pick a ball up, like my back rounds, right? So I need to make sure that I train that to be strong. Now, do I need to hold 500 pounds and do this? Probably not. If you're a strong man or you know, an Olympic wrestler or something like that, yeah, there may be some things that you need to have a little bit more strength with a rounded back. But if your body moves in a certain way, right? If my arm moves like this, okay? So think jiu-jitsu, if you catch yourself like this, we want to be able to take the force that this movement might bring. Now, I don't need to, you know, load 400 pounds in a movement like this, but a dip, right? Or the posture video that I've done, like we want to strengthen these movements the best we can, but we don't want it to be painful as we do it, okay? So I hope this is helpful. This cleared up a lot of misconceptions that I had around some of these things. So again, let me know what you guys think, if you have any comments on this stuff. But I think if you can kind of work with this right here, I think you have a big ceiling to improve a lot of those, that potential for not just improving your dip for the sake of improving your dip, but to improve your strength and your flexibility and your mobility overall. All right, so again, hit me up. Let me know if you have questions. Appreciate you watching. Take care.